So, a little bit about me. I had a pretty average childhood growing up. I was born in middle-class suburbia. I was born here in Maryland, in Montgomery County, the town of Damascus, and I am the youngest of 3 brothers. I have 2 older brothers, both of whom came here to the University of Maryland. They've both graduated now, and I am sort of following in their footsteps. And while I look up to my brothers a lot, and I care about them, I begin to wonder if I've sort of been following in their footsteps my whole life. Growing up, being the youngest, I never really had to look after anyone, and oftentimes that responsibility was placed on my brothers to look after me. I would follow around my brothers, I would do what they do, I would go where they went, and I would always look up to them. Unfortunately, this sort of led to the mentality that I was always comparing myself to my brothers. My parents would often tell me to not make the same mistakes as my brothers and learn from the mistakes that your brother did. Unfortunately, this led to a scenario where I was always comparing myself to my brother. I had the mentality that I had to be better than them. I had to take harder classes than them. I had to get better grades than them. I had to be a better athlete than them. Just everything I did was sort of based on what they did, and I had to do it better. And while this did give me a lot of motivation to be successful and be a good student, it makes me wonder if I've never really formed my own persona, if I've sort of just been living in my brother's shadows rather than trying to carve out myself as a person. I was always kind of a shy kid growing up. In elementary school and middle school, I was never really the most social of kids. I had a small friend group that I would hang out with, but for the most part, I would just sort of keep to myself. I never really went out much or joined too many clubs or teams or anything. Luckily, as time went on and I became a more confident person, I was able to sort of break out of my shell and become a more socially interactive person. This especially happened in the later years of high school, where I began to join a lot more clubs. Like, I was in the SGA, I was on the swim team, and I would get, like, painted up and stuff for all the football games, which, in the town of Damascus, football is a very big deal. Like, we have Friday Night Lights level type stuff. That's how seriously we took that. But other than that, I'm still a pretty shy and nerdy guy at heart. I love playing video games and reading comic books and all that sort of stuff. I'd spend a lot of time on the computer browsing the internet and playing games, which is part of the reason as to why I chose to become a computer science major. However, I am unfortunately finding out the hard way that spending a lot of time on the computer is very different from actually knowing how a computer works. And so, classes are pretty difficult right now, but that's all a part of college. I just gotta work my way through it and see how things go. But college has definitely proven to be somewhat of a challenge. It's not like high school where I was able to just show up and get good grades. You gotta be able to work hard and manage your time well, which I say as I am recording this the night before it's due. But I digress. College requires a lot more work and a lot more diligence. In terms of hobbies, I don't really have too much that really sets me apart. I enjoy swimming. Like I said, I was on the swim team for all 4 years of high school. I enjoy playing soccer and basketball. I used to play trumpet in my school's band, but that was several years ago. So I don't really have too much that I am especially passionate about, but I'm hoping that my time here at college will help me find that out. College is a pretty great place for self-discovery and trying to figure out who you are as a person. So hopefully in my time here, I will be able to find something that I'm really passionate about and be able to carve out my own self rather than live in the shadow of my brothers and be able to become a more self-fulfilled person. But until then, I'm just going to play it by ear and see how things go.